Melody was active yesterday and I was enjoying it. She is inching very close to being who I am rooting for. It helps that she is a fellow Pisces. Hello, Big Brother fans. I am happy to report that yesterday was finally a good day of feeds, as finally more than one person got messy at the same time. I feel like this whole season so far, someone might get messy there, and then 12 hours later, someone's getting messy, or, Angela's starting to be paranoid the whole time. But yesterday, a lot of people were getting messy at once, and that is when the early weeks of feeds are fun. Also, yesterday, finally, someone besides D got activated to want to play their own game, and that is my fellow Pisces, Melody. So that was good to see. Let's get into it. Ashley really kicked off the mess yesterday. A few days ago I said that Ashley is too quiet for someone that's on the block and she needs to talk more game. Well, she might have been better off staying quiet. Though I will say that the night before, D, Angela, Barrett, Drew must have felt the same way as me, that Ashley needs to talk more game and get more votes, because they did tell her that she needs to get more votes. She needs to tell other people that she has the votes so that the vote wouldn't be a tie. However, they did not tell her to go about it in the way that she did, because Ashley went around yesterday naming everyone voting for her, aka everyone in that 9-person alliance that they were trying to form. Ashley first spilled to Mallory yesterday about how there might be these sides and people think that Mallory is considered on the other side. Mallory tried to tell Ashley there is no big alliance because there isn't. Lyric then also came in to listen to Ashley babble on about how these people are basically working together and they want to keep Ashley, and Ashley wants them to come over to their side. Ashley told Mallory and Lyric she had the votes. She named the votes that were for her, and she said people are saying they will keep Ashley over both Yash and Taylor, and that they were trying to keep it a secret from the other side. So not only did Ashley name all the people that were voting for her, she named them as a side of the house. Mallory said that she talks zero game with Lala and says people see shit and get paranoid, and that's why they think there's this other big alliance going on where there's not. Mallory also clocked Haley pretty hard here, because she straight up told Haley that her vote was going to be to keep Ashley, but now Ashley is saying that Haley told Ashley that Mallory is voting out Ashley, so that didn't make any sense to Mallory. Mallory was also asking about Drew, and if there is an alliance with Drew or without them. Is Drew involved in this somehow? Drew's been doing a lot of ratting to the vets, which we will continue to talk about today. I will say, though, I don't really feel like Lyric and Mallory did very good getting all this information. Someone is telling you that there's all these votes to keep Ashley and that you are considered to be on the other side would immediately make me think there is a big alliance that has formed in the house. Now, Lyric did go to Melody and only told her a small piece of what Ashley said at first. She said that Ashley said that she has the votes to stay, but Melanie doesn't think that's true, thought Ashley was lying because everyone she's talked to wants Ashley out. Lyric then went to her showmance, Rome, which is really the only part about this whole experience she seems to care about this summer. She did tell Rome that they're on the outside of the vote and that people are going to start coming for them, but Rome kind of just dismissed that and said that Lyric is being paranoid. Lyric told Rome that he's wrong and they're going to go up on the block next week. Rome disagreed, and they even did a bet about whoever is right or wrong has to get the other person food for a day next week. This was just another time that this showmance annoyed me. I mean, I'm usually annoyed with most showmances, but this one's even worse. It's starting so early, and I feel like it's taken both of their heads outside of the game. I mean, I know that Lyric is in a working relationship with Mallory. Last night, they even said they would use the veto on each other if one of them is on the block. And Rome has this interesting dynamic with Lala, which is like an unlikely duo in the house. But that's kind of all the game that they have. Even with each other, I don't feel like they're good at talking game with each other for a showmance. I feel like Lyric talks way more game with Mallory. Maybe it's because Rome doesn't listen to her when it comes to the game. But also, it does feel like all Lyric cares about is this awful showmance. Lyric talked about yesterday how in the morning Ashley hurt her feelings because Ashley was like, aren't you worried about your parents seeing that, in regards to Lyric and Rome being in bed every night? And I don't know what they're doing in bed every night. Maybe French fries? A Love Island reference. Rome was explaining to Lyric how he is dealing with this game and the approach to his position. And Lyric's just talking about how she doesn't know if she's cut out for this, even though she gave a whole spiel about being a supposed super fan. Then there's also this whole dynamic between Rome and Angela where they're both upset with the other because the other doesn't talk to them, which is honestly part of the reason that Angela even had a major paranoia spiral this week, because she's had this thing in her mind about Rome's game that is bigger than it actually is. Lala did get them to talk to each other by the end of the night, but I don't know how much real progress they made there. Melody told Drew that they have to be loyal to their alliance with Jason. Melody also likes the four-season alliance with Drew, her, Lyric, and Rome, which of course Drew has long since ratted out that alliance to his vets that he seems to have to tell every piece of his game to. Melody also told Drew that Mallory doesn't trust him. So Drew, who can't keep his mouth shut, went to Mallory and said that someone told him that she doesn't like him. But he didn't say who said that, and I don't think Mallory figured out that it's Melody yet. Although there is still tension between Melody and Mallory. Because even though Melody grew on me yesterday on the feeds, which I'm about to get into, I do think her social game is definitely a weak point. But Ashley continued her sloppiness yesterday when she told Melody all of the similar information that she told Lyric and Mallory earlier. Ashley said that she has the votes to stay. She named them all, including Drew being one of the main ones, which is like Melody's number one right now. Or at least that's what Melody thinks, not knowing that Drew has been slandering everything she says. This, however, did activate Melody. And I don't blame her. Like, imagine being told 12th. Here, come into this motherfucking 12-person alliance on the other side. Like, give me a fucking break. I really do think Ashley's approach was piss poor yesterday in trying to rally more votes so there's not a tie for her. So Melody basically immediately went to Rome and told Rome about what Ashley said to her, that there's the other side of the house counting on a split vote, and they want to keep Ashley because they are trying to figure out who's really working with Rome, or they think Rome has this big alliance, which made Melody and Rome agree that they need to keep Taylor. Melody told Rome that Drew didn't tell her anything about the votes / the majority, which I felt like Melody was seething about the rat that is Drew at that point. But then Melody ratted out what Ashley said to the two simp rats, Drew and Barrett, who are simps for the vets. Melody told them that Ashley said Angela, Devins, Kamu, Dee, Chuck, and even Drew are rallying together to keep her, saying that they had the numbers to force a split vote. Barrett played it off saying something like, I think they would need more people. But honestly, I felt like it was such an awkward conversation, and I thought Drew was playing it off terrible with his body language. He was so awkward during this entire conversation. And then Drew and Barrett kept looking at each other awkwardly when Melody was going off about Ashley's information, saying she's not going to side with that fucking side who obviously are pulling her at the last second. I do think that Barrett did his best to save Drew's ass in this conversation, but Drew's body language was stressed, and I feel like the annoyance was all over his rat-looking face. Drew was shooting down everything Melody was saying, but unfortunately, I still don't think Melody caught onto Drew's awfulness in this conversation, and he does remain her blind spot for now. She did clock that the Red Table Alliance, the crossovers, and what they were kind of doing with Ashley. Melody said, they know Ashley is dumb as hell, so they want a number for their side because they have already drawn a line in the sand, which is what that 9-person alliance was attempting to do, as stupid as I think it was to draw the line in the sand this early and try and manufacture a split house off of Angela's paranoia. But Barrett and Drew eventually did convince her to keep Ashley and vote with the house to play it safe, or so they thought. We will get back to Melody. Mallory interrupted that convo, though, that was happening between Melody, Barrett, and Drew, and pulled Barrett and complained to Barrett that Drew said that he heard that she don't like him. They also talked about how Dee pulled her aside at one point and told her that Dee heard that Mallory hates her. So Mallory should start to be on to the fact that there's some ratting going on and her information is getting back to people. Who is she talking to the most? Could it be Drew and Melody? Seems like Mallory's supposed to be the smart rocket scientist. Let's put it together, Mallory. When Drew and Barrett got back together after Melody gave all the information about Ashley, Drew did say that Ashley sucks and that he almost wanted to vote her out. Barrett also told Drew that Mallory was asking about him. I feel like after that conversation with Melody, Drew and Barrett looked miserable. Melody had them shooken up, and I love to see them dejected because I do not like those two rats. Meanwhile, Jason told Lyric that he really likes Angela and that Haley was trying to form a wedge between them. I feel like Jason has felt Angela's energy shift these past few days when Angela learned from Drew that Jason is trying to play Angela. So later, Jason was crying again to Angela, saying that he's not going after her or Lala. But Angela is playing Jason now. However, I do feel like Angela is barely keeping it together because when she's alone, I feel like she really, really, really wants to explode on Jason, and she's having to contain that so far. Before we get back to the mess that Ashley caused, let's talk about the other two people on the block this week. Yash's big idea yesterday was to propose this 10-person group. He was talking about it to Chuck. It's basically all 8 guys and 2 of the women. Chuck asking if that's going to be their alliance, and Yash is saying it's not an alliance, it's more of an alignment. I mean, I feel like Yash has been fighting to stay. However, I do hate his ideas. Hate that idea. Taylor took forever to start seeing where the votes were yesterday. And that was after taking the day off altogether the day before. However, one thing I will say about the target that is on Taylor is that Taylor is getting targeted because her and Lala are close and because Lala is close to Rome. So Taylor is getting targeted because Lala and Rome are close, really nothing of her own. So I really stopped being upset with the fact that Taylor was slow to start campaigning again, because what people have been calling online the Mega 3 of Chuck, Kamu, and Haley was starting to sound like the Mega 9 yesterday, because when the news of Ashley's mess was coming out, I feel like everyone in that almost big 9-person alliance was coping and still wanting to keep Ashley, yet Taylor is being targeted because Lala and Rome are close and she's close to Lala. I mean, 3 out of the last 4 seasons, a young black woman starts on the bottom because of preconceived notions from the rest of the cast. Plus, we have seen that Haley and Kamu have microaggressions towards Lala. Drew, of course, though, couldn't keep quiet for long and told Kamu, Devins, and Haley what Ashley told Melody, who then told he and Barrett. So they discussed how Dee needs to have a stern conversation with Ashley. They still want to keep Ashley because Haley still had the idea that Taylor needs to go. That is her tunnel vision. And as I said, they were coping that Ashley is dumb. So, let's still keep her, even though she named all of us as an alliance and officially wants to draw a line in the sand. When Devins was told this information, I felt like he had a look on his face that he didn't want to cope with that. And I feel like Devins immediately saw that it meant that Ashley really is not a number that they can use if she's going around naming all these names. I also still don't understand why Drew is just trying to throw Melody under the bus so hard. Actually, maybe I do, because It's because Drew's not playing his own fucking game. He's playing for the vets. Like, Drew could have had Mallory as a weapon for him. But instead he's pissing people off about Mallory, even though Ashley is the one that caused the whole mess in the first place. Everything Drew does is not good for his individual game. I say this every year with this show. They cast so many people that don't know how to play for themselves to, win the game. Only one person can win. Drew is helping everyone else in his alliance before he helps himself. And then, again, Drew does all this vet ass kissing, and Angela was still paranoid about Drew yesterday. When she found out the information, Angela thought Drew was lying about Ashley going around and telling the house that Ashley has the votes to stay and who the votes are. Haley and Angela talked about this, how they still want to keep Ashley. Haley said that she wants to keep Ashley, but she isn't sure that they could work with her because they can't trust Ashley's gameplay. But to me, doesn't that sound dumb? I'm keeping someone I can't trust and work with. Fucking stupid. Let's discuss Queen D, because so far she is the best example this season of playing your own game, which is what I preach every summer. I cover Big Brother. Yesterday, Dee and Devins were having this conversation after all of the Ashley drama came out. Dee told Devins that in the case of a tie, she's not keeping Ashley because she promised Taylor that she would keep Taylor. Devins was supporting her, though he did want to talk through this. Devins pointed out that Dee wouldn't want to cut Taylor in a tie because then Dee would be public enemy number one, which Dee said, yeah. And Devins understands that Dee is looking out for herself. I mean, what a concept. Because yes, this does make the most sense for Dee's game. If there is a tie and she broke the tie and sent Taylor home, then if someone like Lala or Rome won the next HOH, Dee is public enemy number one to them. So then she's really the one that officially draws the line in the sand. So Dee will keep her word to Taylor and Lala and others by breaking a tie to keep Taylor. But Barrett and Drew and everyone in that alliance would expose themselves in that vote. But Dee wouldn't expose herself, which is the prime example of Dee playing her own game. And yet I'm supposed to think that the two loser superfans, Drew and Barrett, are playing a good game and they aren't just simp bitches. Right. Anyway, I love that Dee is playing her own game. You can see why Dee is a winner of one of these games before. Melanie was first upset with Lyric and Mallory because they didn't tell her the information that Ashley told them first. But Melody had a conversation with Lyric and Mallory saying that Ashley claims that she has the votes to stay, but that they're hearing otherwise, that Ashley doesn't. The three questioned whether the other side is using Ashley to mislead them and agreed that they need to vote with the house. But then it was fun seeing in real time that Melody was realizing that they can have the numbers to keep Taylor no matter what, although she was counting Drew and Barrett at that point. But even without Drew and Barrett, it would have been a tie, and Dee would break the tie to keep Taylor. Mallory said that if Taylor is up, we keep Taylor no matter what, but if it's Ashley versus Yash, they vote out Yash. They never completely settled on that in this conversation, though Yash does still seem like the bigger target over Ashley despite all of Ashley's mess. During this conversation, to no surprise, Lyric added nothing to this conversation between Lyric, Mallory, and Melody. But Melody was active yesterday and I was enjoying it. She is inching very close to being who I am rooting for. It helps that she is a fellow Pisces. She started the day yesterday, waking up early in the morning to cry for an hour like a good Pisces. But then she had her best day in the house. Melody went back to Rome to discuss how they need to keep Taylor because Taylor could be a number for them. Rome said that Taylor is for sure staying. Melody said that they think they have fucking Drew. Rome thinks that Devins is also with him and not with others. So obviously these two still have plenty of blind spots. I mean, Rome, I don't even know what his game is. Rome thinks he's too cool for school. He thinks he's president of the house, he said last night. I don't know if he was joking. But Melody is showing a very good, strong game sense. Drew is her blind spot, though. Still, Lyric and Rome settled on trusting Melody when they had a conversation about if they can trust Melody, because Rome doesn't want Lyric to overthink things and get paranoid. Rome thinks that Melody is with both of them, which right now she is, but Melody has shown this season that she will cut someone off if need be. So basically, after Drew spent all afternoon and evening doing damage control, trying to salvage to Ashley's game to keep Ashley because he thought that's what the vet still wanted, D changed Puppet Drew's mind on the vote with one conversation, saying the smart, logical thing is that Ashley is no longer a useful number. And like that, Drew switched because, like I said, all afternoon, he thought the vet still wanted Ashley to stay. So he was working hard to make that happen. But D tells him, nah, we're going to vote Ashley out. And what does Drew do? Like the puppet he is for the vets, goes along with it because he's not playing his own game. Haley did confront Ashley about her naming names, especially naming her name as one of the votes to stay, because Haley feels like she already takes a lot of heat, which Haley does, but it's her own damn fault. Ashley said she was told to do this, and she did name Barrett, Drew, D, Angela as people who advised her to do this, although they did not advise her to say names. Haley told Ashley she shouldn't have told Melody. So yeah, some people still trying to blame Melody for this mess when it was Ashley that caused the mess. I mean, it was really everyone in that 8-person alliance trying to save Ashley's ass without her actually talking game with them. Like, they just did this whole plan to save Ashley off of Angela's paranoia about Rome having a big alliance. Pretty stupid. Haley and Chuck and Kamu still wanted to keep Ashley, but after the vets made their decision that Ashley has to go, even if Angela disagreed, Devins then convinced Kamu that Ashley should go. So the downside is there could be a unanimous vote against Ashley if it's Ashley and Taylor. I still think odds are Yash goes if it's Yash and Ashley, though. That's best case scenario for the feeds. I think Ashley and Taylor both staying gives proper mess to the season, with Ashley possibly being able to come back from her sloppy gameplay. So yeah, I feel like D is still the best player by far. Melody is growing quickly as my favorite, though. Drew and Barrett, these super fan vet ass kissers, I can't stand them. I think Drew sucks at his game. You know, during the cast assessment, I said he has a young face, which is a compliment because he is young. He should look young. But I know they say you are what you eat, but I think you are what you are. And Drew's starting to look like a rat to me. He kind of does look like a rat. I think Barrett could still win. I think he has a more subdued social game. I don't like how performative Barrett comes off to me. I've been saying this since the feeds turned on. Now Barrett is supposedly worried about how the house feels about Haley and that it's turning into something unhealthy. Well, then he should have a talk with Haley and tell her to stop being an annoying hater. It's all she does. Since the feeds turned on, all Haley does is hate and go around and interrupt one-on-one conversations. Like, gee, I wonder why people would get upset with her and how she's possibly rubbing people the wrong way. Like, maybe if people were upset at Haley for no reason, I could get behind Barrett saying that, oh, this is unhealthy the way people think about Haley. But like, you know, Haley and Kamu were the ones going around trying to spread that Lala is aggressive to try and get her on the block this week. Was that not unhealthy, you know, Barrett? So yeah, I don't like these two rat ass kissing super fans.